This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The Self Today, the winners of this year's ID Dunedin Emerging Designers Fashion Show are announced. It's been a busy weekend in Wanaka as the middle of winter becomes a time to celebrate events in the town. And the Coronet Peak ski field is set to open soon, or rather as soon as they can make enough snow. Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi o te ahi nei, kia ora. I'm Simon Anderson. The winners of this year's ID International Emerging Designer Awards were announced to a sellout crowd in Dunedin on Saturday. Closed borders meant only 11 of the 41 finalists could showcase their collections on the runway, with the judges and audience left to view the remainder by video.
Trying out a new venue, this year's ID International Emerging Designer Awards were shown to a sellout crowd at the atrium of Dunedin's Otago Museum. This year's head judge was Tania Carlson, who says she's impressed by the enthusiasm shown by the young designers.
The best part about emerging designers is seeing all the brilliant young talent, and it's just so inspiring, and they're optimistic and they're hopeful for the future.
Carlson says closed borders made it a challenge to judge this year's entries simply by watching them on video, but the global jury made sure the designs which stood out were among the finalists.
When it comes to picking a winner, we're just always looking for, and I know it sounds corny, the X factor. It really is, you know it jumps out at you. So what we have is all our judges submitting their comments and a score, and so the process is actually quite straightforward.
First place went to Sarah Kickmeyer, studying in France, with her collection Real Utopia. The event also included a Godmothers section, where older, established designers were hailed by the crowd and the younger designers for their many years of contribution to the show.
In the second half, when the Godmothers had to go and dress their garments, a lot of them gave their seats to the emerging designers so they could come out and watch Godmother half. So that was just brilliant, I love that.
Dr. Margot Barton says she's very grateful for the dozens of volunteers who contributed hundreds of hours behind the scenes to make the show a reality.
Everybody really banded together because we had to, otherwise it wouldn't have happened. And the board, the voluntary board, I'm a member of that, all of us just had to work so hard, it was just ridiculous.
A video of the 41 finalists' designs is set to play at the Otago Museum over next week. In Dunedin, The South Today.
Emergency services attended the scene of a crash in Mosgiel this morning. Police say two medium to small cars collided at the intersection of Eyre Street and Gordon Road just before 11 a.m. Motorists were asked to avoid the area because one lane was blocked. A St John spokesperson says 3 people were treated at the scene. Celebrating New Year in Wanaka's lakefront is becoming as popular in winter as it is in summer. Over the weekend, both Māori and New Year and winter solstice were celebrated in 2 separate events on the lakeshore.
Hundreds gathered for the annual Kahu Youth Matariki celebrations at Wanaka's Dinosaur Park on Saturday afternoon. Kahu Youth Manager Richard Elvey says the event is about bringing the community together in an affordable way.
Well, obviously it's celebrating Matariki, but also it's about this community coming together, and this is a for the community, by the community event. We have no commercial anything here. Everything's koha or free.
It's really good. The kids love it. They love it.
Elvey has been the event organiser since it started 11 years ago and says it's growing each year.
There's a multitude of workshops. We've got a community mural, we've got Wai Wanaka, the water health guys have been running a treasure hunt. We've had the Death Cafe celebrating loved ones that have passed on. We've got face painting and a million things.
The event concluded after sunset with a bonfire and fireworks. And then Sunday morning saw about 200 people take part in a charity fundraiser celebrating the winter solstice with a chili dip in Lake Wanaka. This event is now in its 21st year, with hot sausages and a spa pool on offer for those who took part.
It was fantastic, you should have been there. It was so warm.
The water temperature was just over 10 degrees, a good 3 degrees above air temperature, which was a chilly 7 Celsius. And it wasn't just swimmers, with water skiers and wakeboarders also getting wet, including organisers Graham Vallance and Gary Tweedle showing off as a water skiing duo. This year's chosen charity to benefit from the donations is the Wanaka Food Bank.
Oh, it's beautiful. Pretty good to go out with your mate organising it.
In Wanaka, the South today.
The Southland Primary School's cross-country championships were held at the Southern Festival Field Days site in Waimumu. Championships Committee Chairwoman Wendy Kitor says 431 pupils from across Southland took part in the event. A week of wet weather before the event made the conditions soggy underfoot, with some pupils handling the mudslide and then mud pool better than others. Kitor says a number of shoes went missing during the event. She says the run was completed in good spirits, with those who kept their feet looking out for their competitors who weren't so lucky. Staff at Coronet Peak are flat out trying to get the ski location ready to open as soon as possible. The ski area was supposed to open at the weekend, but management says they now hope to open later this week.
Making snow out of thin air. What was a barren landscape on Coronet Peak a few days ago is starting to whiten as snowmaking at the ski area continues. Manager Nigel Kerr says all guns are blazing to get the ski field open as soon as possible.
The last 24 hours have been really uplifting, to be quite honest. We're relying 100% on the snowmaking. There's very little natural snow in this, but it's certainly a different picture today than it was yesterday.
The seasonally busy ski resort should have opened at the weekend, but Kerr says they're now expecting to open sometime next week, depending on progress. As of yesterday afternoon, the depth of the snow base varied from bare to about 40 centimetres, depending on where the guns were pointed.
It's really splotch changeable because the guns tend to make dots rather than evenly over the whole mountain. So I'd say at the moment it's a matter of joining the dots, and we've got from nothing up to 40 or 50 centimetres in different places.
He says Mother Nature is expected to cooperate this week, with continuing cold temperatures suitable for snow making, and even some natural snow forecast midweek.
It actually is pretty good. Looking ahead, we've got some natural snow coming mid next week, and I think we feel like we're moving into winter proper. Shorter stay, that's what you do.
Last year, Coronet Peak opened on June 25th, and its sister ski field, the Remarkables, is scheduled to open June 26th. In Queenstown, the South today.
Still to come on the South today, an iconic sculpture in central Otago is about to get a $100,000 polish, and we catch some of the action from Dunedin's Club Rugby Scene. Ka kite a konei.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We've opened another pop-up store in Invercargill. It's for a limited time. We're in D Street, 201, right beside the Lone Star. Come and check us out. We've got some fantastic deals for you. We've got moleskins, we've got every sort of shirt, worn ones, work ones, business, merino knitwear, jeans, trousers, you name it, the list goes on. It's such a big deal. Come and see us.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Alex Campbell Menswear, pop-up store, D Street, Invercargill.
TV, our favourite babysitter, but it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
Hoki mai anō. The rural township of Allenton will double its size if a proposed rezoning goes ahead. The rezoning would allow nearly 400 new houses to be built on a swathe of rural land near the township, doubling the current size of Allenton. The proposal comes as the Dunedin City Council considers changes to its second-generation district plan in order to boost housing stock. The land would include 8 kilometres of cycling and walking tracks and almost half of the land earmarked for public recreation and native bush replanting. The original submission was rejected by the council due in part to flooding risks. Cold, drizzly conditions did not discourage about 24 brave swimmers from taking to the ocean in the Catlins on Sunday. Organisers say the midwinter plunge has been held at Kaka Point for at least 50 years.
Chilly, drizzly conditions meant those taking part in this year's midwinter plunge at Kaka Point was only about 20 hardy souls, down from about 50 in other years. But those who took part enjoyed the challenge.
You should go in yourself, you just don't know what it's like.
It's called a brain freeze.
All these overdressed people should be out there swimming.
Refreshing. Very awake now.
Kaka Point Surf Lifesaving Club President Mark Van Asburn says the club has been running the event since at least the 1960s and offers facilities to warm up after.
We've got a hot shower here, some hot drinks and hot food and a barbecue as well, so yeah, we'll get you warm here.
The sea was about 13 degrees Celsius, but Van Asburn says running the event prevented him from enjoying a dip himself.
Look, somebody's got to look after the barbecue, you know, so you just can't do everything, I'm afraid.
He says the event is a way to begin the journey back to summer as a club and a community. At Kaka Point, the South today.
The Cromwell Community Board is planning to give its big fruit sculpture a tart-up. The plan is to clean, paint and lacquer the town's iconic fruit sculpture. The board is setting aside $100,000 for the spruce up. The fruit will last repainted 5 years ago at a cost of $37,000. It's hoped a future program of annual cleaning and the application of a lacquer coating every 2 years will reduce the need to repaint as often. Green Islands Rugby Football Club is at the top of the table in Dunedin's Premier Club rugby competition. Rugby aficionado Paul Dwyer spoke to players from both the Green Island and Dunedin teams after a decisive win for the Green Islands at Kettle Park on Saturday.
Welcome to 82 Rugby Chat, brought to you by Liquorland. We've just finished to watch the game out here at Kettle Park and a drizzly mist coming in over the ground. Final score 42-24. GI over Dunedin. In the other games, 20-all final score between Kaikoura and Southern. 49-0 currently Taueri over Zingaree. That game's still going, and there's a bit to go in the AU Harbour game, but at this stage AU up 20-5, so that looks like an upset to them. So look, I've got Sam Aripa, 150 game man for GI, and I've got young Hogues here from Dunedin and played his 50th game. Hogues, we'll start with you. Boys, you started really well today, and you got up 5-0, and it was probably 5-0 to probably 20-25 minutes into the game, but then you let them back into it.
Yeah, we started with a bit of a hiss and a roar, and then they got a few tries and we just couldn't get our head back into it, so not much we could do about it today, but GI played well and can't take that away from them. So
3 intercept tries too, mate, and you've given a lot of intercept tries away this year.
Yeah, we have. It's not too good, so we have to Tuesday training have a look at that and try to fix it up.
Sam, on your 150th game, mate, congratulations. But look, you guys were clinical today. You scored tries when you needed to.
Yeah, I think we struggled a little bit to get going, but once we got going, I think on the back of some good defence, we scored some not bad tries, a couple of set-piece tries through Ray Nu'u, and like you say, a few intercept tries out there to get us over the line. So, yeah, good to get the job done.
So pretty proud of when you've got a good crowd here today watching your 150th game. Must be a big thrill. I see your wife, and you gave your wife a big hug as you ran out of the paddock today.
Yeah, just an old fella slogging along. So, I mean, you've been around the club that long, you get plenty of support behind you.
So there it is, all over. 20-all Kaikoura and Southern final score, 49-0. Taueri over Zingaree, 20-5 AU over Harbour. That game's still going. And this game at Kettle Park, 42-24 to Green Island over Dunedin. And we'll be back with you again next week.
After the break on the south today, there was high-octane fun to be had at Oamaru over the weekend, and we check out the weather for the week ahead. Hea koko ake nei.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, Lindsay here from Campbell's Menswear. We've opened another pop-up store in Invercargill. It's for a limited time. We're in D Street, 201, right beside the Lone Star. Come and check us out. We've got some fantastic deals for you. We've got moleskins, we've got every sort of shirt, worn ones, work ones, business. merino knitwear, jeans, trousers, you name it, the list goes on. It's such a big deal. Come and see us.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Alex Campbell Menswear, pop-up store, D Street, Invercargill.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Hey, what have you got? Okay. Chicks World, party time, excellent.
Love it! Chicks World! Chicks World!
Nā mai anō, welcome back. Oamaru's harbour was buzzing over the weekend with the return of the annual Powerboat Marathon, which had small crowds of motorboat enthusiasts visit the waterfront to watch the race. Watercraft equipped with powerful outboard motors launched from Oamaru's Holmes Wharf on Saturday for the annual Oamaru Harbour Powerboat Marathon. The event is part of a series of marathons held across New Zealand each year. 15 boats competed in the race, with various craft spanning 7 different grades. Hosted by the North Otago Yacht and Powerboat Club, organisers say they are pleased that racers from across the country supported the event following the cancellation of last year's event due to COVID-19. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. The winners of this year's ID Dunedin Emerging Designers Fashion Show have been announced at the weekend's gala event. It's been a busy weekend in Wanaka as the middle of winter becomes a time to celebrate events in the town. And the Coronet Peak ski field is set to open soon, or rather as soon as they can make enough snow. Perhaps Mother Nature is set to lend a hand. Now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we welcome Craig Page. Kia ora, Craig.
Good evening. Yeah, there's a big report out tomorrow from the University of Otago looking at the government response and the impact of Mycoplasma bovis disease, which of course huge impact in Dunedin. It sent shockwaves around the country in July 2017 when it was first discovered and sort of prompted our largest biosecurity response. So can't say much about the report because it isn't under embargo, but we do have extensive coverage of it, including talking to some farmers who lost hundreds of stock as a result of this, and they still bear the brunt today, I guess, of the impact of that. So yeah, well worth a look at that. We've got something for the fans of TV children's show Play School, so a bit of a step back in time. You're probably a bit young to remember that, Simon, but you'd be more of a Ninja Turtle man, I would have thought. But
I do know them.
Yeah, so some years ago we carried a story about little Ted, who was one of the characters in the show, whose headless body now sits at the Toyju Museum. Apparently, when the show ended in 1989, little Ted was blown up as part of the show celebrations. And
I'm glad it wasn't one of my memories.
Exactly, and they couldn't find his head. And following our story, somebody contacted us anonymously to say he had the head, but wouldn't give us any more details. So there's been extensive tracking down through various media, and we've managed to track down the man that owns or now has the head, tucked away at his Dunedin home. He's keeping pretty quiet. He's allowed us to photograph the head, but he won't identify himself, and he said he's not prepared to give it back either. He said it's a mystery, and it's exciting to have that mystery out there for us all, so, and no intention of handing it back. But bit of a quirky story, and it will bring back a lot of memories for a lot of people.
Very quirky.
Sure. Travel, we're off to the Cook Islands for some much needed sunshine, and we're not staying at the resorts. We're out to get a bit of a local experience. Lots of roosters and chickens apparently. And just finally sport, All Black squad, first squad of the season's named, 7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's for initial tests against Fiji and Tonga. So we're expecting Aaron Smith and maybe Shannon Frizzell from the Highlanders to be involved. But I think it'll be nice to see Jonah Nareki there as well, who's been one of the form outside backs of the competition, and he deserves some reward. So we'll have updates on our website from 7 and full wrap of the squad in tomorrow's paper.
Brilliant, Craig. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, Dunedin's changing landscape under a blue sky. Looking at the situation, a cold southwesterly airflow brings cloud to coastal regions over the next few days. Inland, however, it's looking brighter with some long periods of sun. Starting at the northwest of the South Island, it's a brisk and fine day for all in the north. 12 degrees in Greymouth, 13 in Westport. And it's the same up top, Nelson on 12 here, Blenheim on 13. Moving to Canterbury, not so flash, rain right across this region and cooler temperatures. 10 degrees in Kaikoura, Christchurch and Ashburton only 8. Heading to the southern towns, all the towns here can expect moderate southwesterlies with cloud increasing. Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore all reach 9 degrees, the Catlins one warmer on 10. To the Central Lakes area, pretty similar here, though wind and cloud are lighter across this region. 9 degrees everywhere but Queenstown. You should just reach 8 degrees. Further north, where those inland towns, Twizel and Omarama, share the light winds with some sun even on its way. 9 degrees for both. Those southwesterlies and clouds sweep up the coast, however, at least Oamaru and Timaru avoid the coldest temperatures on 10 and 11 degrees. In Dunedin, it's cold this evening as light winds strengthen, maybe bringing showers, an overnight low of 3. Any early showers clear tomorrow, the weather becoming fine, with sunny periods increasing and moderate cold southwest winds easing. Just some cloud tomorrow night, a high of 10 and a low of 8. And it's cloudy on Wednesday, a few light showers during the morning and cold southwesterlies freshening before dying out. A high of 9 and a low of 2 degrees. And in Invercargill, it's mostly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 6. Fine at first tomorrow, a long sunny period stretching across the morning before cloud increases during the afternoon, giving way to showers during the evening. Moderate southwest winds prevail, a high of 9 and a low of 5. The showers clear during the day on Wednesday, those fresh, cold southwesterlies decreasing, a high of 10 and a low of 0 degrees. And that's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.